We've always been told aging is a one-way street, right? It's just a fact of life. But what if that's all about to change? What if it's not inevitable at all?
I mean, what if literally everything we think we know about getting older is just wrong? And look, I'm not talking about just living a little bit longer. I'm talking about actually turning back the clock.
Because, according to some really groundbreaking new research, scientists think they might be on the verge of finding exactly that, a biological reset button, a way to tell ourselves to just be young again. Okay, so you got to see how this works. Let's get into it.
So, to really wrap our heads around how we could possibly end old age, we first need to understand how scientists are tackling this massive problem. And right now, the fight is happening on two totally different fronts.
All right, think of it like this. On one side, you've got the repair strategy. This is kind of like having an elite maintenance crew for your body, right? They're constantly fixing things, cleaning out junk, basically slowing down the wear and tear. But then on the other side, you've got the reboot strategy. And this is way more radical. This isn't about patching things up. It's about wiping the whole system clean and restoring your cells to their original day one factory settings. So yeah, two completely different ways of looking at the problem.
Okay, so let's start with approach number one, that molecular repair crew. This whole idea is based on finding specific drugs and compounds that can help our bodies deal with all the damage that just builds up over the years.
Now, the fancy scientific name for these things is Geroprotectors, but all that really means is that they're drugs and compounds that have been shown, at least in the lab, to slow down the aging process and help animals live healthier for longer.
And here are the heavyweights, the big players in this whole field. We're talking about stuff you might have even heard of, like Metformin, Rapamycin, and the rock star of the group, Resveratrol. That's the one you find in red wine. These are the compounds getting all the attention right now.
So, how do these things actually work? Well, they've got a few different jobs. Some of them act like a tiny garbage disposal system for your cells. They kickstart a process called autophagy, which, believe it or not, literally means self-eating, and it just cleans out all the damaged junk. Then you have others that act like antioxidants, basically protecting your cells from what you could call molecular rust. And maybe the coolest ones are the Senolytics. Think of these as tiny assassins programmed to hunt down and eliminate those nasty zombie cells that just hang around causing inflammation and problems as we get older.
I know what you're thinking. A molecular repair crew? That sounds amazing. So, what's the catch? Why isn't everyone popping these pills already?
Well, here's the catch, and it's a big one. Just look at the results from the studies. They are all over the map. I mean, take resveratrol or even caffeine. Some studies show they extend life, but others show they can actually shorten it. The results are just wildly inconsistent. So yeah, the idea is promising, but we're not there yet. Not even close.
And that very inconsistency, that frustration, is what pushed some scientists to ask a much, much bigger question. They thought, okay, forget trying to patch up this old, creaky system. What if we could just start over completely?
And that question brings us to the second strategy. And I'm telling you, this is where things go from science fact to what feels like science fiction. We are now talking about cellular reprogramming, a full, complete factory reset for your cells.
The crazy thing is, the basic idea is almost shockingly simple. Scientists can take one of your old cells, let's say a skin cell. They add just 4 special proteins. These are called the Yamanaka factors. And almost like a magic trick, these factors tell the cell to just forget everything. Forget its job, forget its past, and, this is the key, forget its age. The cell goes all the way back to being a brand new stem cell, which means it can turn into any other cell in the body. It's the ultimate biological clean slate.
So let that sink in. We're not talking about just treating the symptoms of getting old. This process deletes age at the cellular level. The clock isn't paused, it's not slowed down, it is reset completely to 0.
But how? I mean, how is that even possible? How does a cell just forget how old it is? Well, the secret is to think of your body like a computer. You've got your hardware. That's your DNA, the physical code. And then you've got the software, the programs that tell the hardware what to do and when.
That software is what scientists call your epigenome. It's basically a whole layer of instructions and chemical markers sitting on top of your DNA. It's what tells your genes to turn on or off. And this system is what we call the epigenetic clock. It's what really tracks your biological age. Here's the kicker. Your DNA hardware doesn't really get old. It's the software running on top of it that gets buggy and corrupted over time.
And it turns out that most of the stuff we actually call aging, the wrinkles, feeling more fragile, all of it, it's not because our DNA hardware is failing. It's because the software, the epigenome, is slowly collecting bugs and glitches.
And this is the truly mind-blowing part of the whole story. Those Yamanaka factors we talked about, they don't try to fix the buggy software. They completely wipe it and reinstall the original, brand new version. Cellular reprogramming literally resets that epigenetic clock all the way back to day one.
Now, if you're thinking, no way, this has to be science fiction, well, just look at this. On the left, you've got a normal old mouse. But on the right, that's the same mouse after it went through this process. I mean, not only did it look younger and healthier, its actual lifespan was extended. This isn't a theory. It's real. It has already been done.
So what does this all mean for us? Well, this isn't some far-off dream for the future. We are literally living at the very beginning of a massive revolution in how we think about and maybe one day treat aging itself. But okay, let's be real for a second. The jump from mice to humans is a huge one. The #1 challenge right now is safety. Think about it. You're telling cells to get young and start dividing again. That's a super delicate balance. If you push that process just a little too far, you don't get a younger person, you get uncontrolled cell growth. And that's exactly what cancer is.
So, all of this leads to one pretty profound question for you. This technology is on its way. The implications are just staggering. If science could hand you a button to reset your biological age, would you actually push it?
If these ideas completely blew your mind, do me a favor and hit that like button. And hey, subscribe if you want to keep taking these trips to the absolute cutting edge of science.